Hey, it's Gareth Flood here, and today we're going to talk about the first and most critical part of any business plan, and particularly any marketing plan, and it is getting your market information together. So today we're going to cover where this fits within the marketing framework, why it is so critical, and how to get your market information all together from the right sources as quickly and as fast as possible. And if you stick around till the end, I'll also alert you about a module that you can get this done in a really quick fashion for your business. So if that sounds good, stick around till the end and I'll show you that. All right, let's get into it. So if you don't know me, I'm Gareth Flood. I'm a marketing professional for over 20 years. I've helped my clients get over $120 million in gross margin from marketing-led activity, and I'm looking to double that again for my next set of clients. So if that sounds like you or you're interested in that, join us on the journey in this channel or find out more at stepstogrowth.com. Okay, now let's get into the topic of market information. First thing to note is refreshing the marketing framework. So this is our framework of how marketing works. 6 steps. Number 1, understand the customer. Number 2, analyze the situation. Number 3, identify issues and opportunities. Number 4, you develop the plan. Then number 5, implement the plan. And number 6, track, measure, and review what you're doing. And this becomes the marketing plan, which becomes your annual business planning. And that is how marketing is done every year. So the first point obviously is understand the customer, because that is how you drive business growth. So it's the very first point of doing anything with marketing. And that breaks down into a few other topics. Now there's more than this, but these are the minimum you absolutely should do. And the very first one is getting your market information. So there's a natural flow to these things, right? You get your market information together, what's happening in the market. From that, you generate insights, market dynamics, you figure out what's happening in the market, and then you can also start to profile your customers and do your customer journey to understand the customer. But here's the key point. Customers don't live in isolation. Customers, people, live in markets. They live in countries, and how they behave, how your customers behave, is also influenced by the market or the country they live in. So let's think about the country you live in, or the country that you're targeting. It's affected by, is the overall economy growing fast, or is it stagnant, or is it declining? Does it have shocks? Does it have exchange rate shocks? How high is inflation? Is inflation 2%, 5%? If it's 10%, that's going to influence people's spending power. What's the government like? Is it fairly stable? Is it friendly to business? Is it going far left? Is it going far right? What are they like trading with other countries, tariffs, etc.? What are they like with regulation? High regulation, low regulation, big tax burden, pro-business, anti-business. These all affect consumers, because if people have stable incomes, which tend to come from stable jobs, they will spend more and they're more predictable in their behavior. But if something's all over the place, you need to account for this. So market information, from that you get insights about what's going on, and from that you can start to profile your customers better. So at a minimum, you also need to know about the type of market you operate in. That's one thing affecting the people, and the other is affecting your product. So if you sell something related to cars, what's happening in the car market? That's going to be fairly dynamic. How many cars are being sold? Is that increasing, decreasing? Types of cars, diesel, gasoline, petrol, electric, the hybrids. There's a lot going on just in that thing. So you have to collect what's going on in the market, and for that you need information, and that is the first step. Without good information, if you just jump ahead to customers and you skip all that, it's very dangerous, because then you're working on assumptions. I think it's like this. I think people are like this, and then you can set your whole budget and your plans and your actions for your business, and it could be flawed. So that's why you start right at the beginning, just collecting market information. So let's go a little bit deeper of where this fits into marketing and the marketing plan. You think of a bit like business is always a funnel, and so is marketing plan, and information is also a funnel. At the very top, you have facts. That's what's out there, facts, right? So you're in the analysis phase of the marketing plan. You don't dive straight into writing your actions and, hey, here's my digital plan and how much of my content plan, how much I'm going to post. A lot of people do that, doesn't have results. Step back, spend time in the analysis phase of what's going on with your market and your customers. And the very first part of the analysis phase is you've got to collect data and facts, which later you can refine into findings, which then refine further down into conclusions, and finally comes down to actions in the plan. And the objective of the market information phase is getting everything ready for the marketing plan. And you're collecting knowledge, and it's still not power. There's a phrase, knowledge is power. Actually, knowledge is only potential power. You need to, one, collect the knowledge, and two, transfer it into something actionable and usable, and that's when it becomes power. But right here, all you want to do is collect the facts. And another analogy here is, if you think about, if you were going off to war, would you just go, right, Paxton, grab a bottle of water, grab my gear, and march off? No, you wouldn't. You prepare. You arm yourself first. You work out, how much food do I need? How much clothing? How much weapons? Do I check all my weapons? How much intelligence do I have about what I'm walking into? And then you start to make a plan. But you make sure you've got your basics sorted first. These are inputs into a plan to win. And that's how militaries and armies work all over the world. And it's the same here. You're just getting ready to start marching. So this is where market information sits. It's up at the top. You're trying to collect the facts, which are later going to become your plan. And obviously, the more high quality data sources you can put into the plan to inform your actions, the better the quality of your plan will be. Everybody knows, GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. High quality inputs equals high quality outputs. That applies to the food you eat, it applies to your exercise, it applies to your marketing plans and your business. So that's where market information sits. We want to get the most high quality facts we can to make an awesome plan. So the overview and objectives of what you're doing with your market information. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to provide you a description of the types of data that are commonly used in a marketing plan. That's number one. And number two, I'm going to give you a framework for identifying the data requirements and ensure they're fulfilled with some indications of the types of data sources available. So you can get types of data, you need a framework, and you need to find places to start finding them. And the objective here, what I'm trying to do is give you an appreciation of the importance of collecting the right data at the right time and the ability to gather it in a structured way that is the most efficient use of your resources and your time and your people while minimizing the risk. Because this is not also a one-off exercise. You will have to refresh your business plan and your marketing plan periodically, maybe once a year, maybe every 2 to 3 years, maybe even 5 years if you're doing really well. But once you've got this process set up, it's easy. If you just do it ad hoc or rough the first time, next time you do it, you're going to have to figure it all out again, which is costly and time. So you don't want to do that. So I'm trying to give you a framework to get this done. And just a note, while you're collecting facts, this isn't a market research exercise, but just a note, there's two types of market research. There's primary and secondary. Primary is it's a new study that you create or you pay people to do to go and get that information for the first time, with a secondary, which is already existing information, research reports, research agencies, etc. They both have advantages and disadvantages. I've listed them here, but to get things done quickly, I'm only talking about secondary information. So existing available sources of data, which, I mean, honestly, today with the internet, and there's so much out there for free, and you can get secondary research to pay at relatively low cost. Do secondary research first, also called sometimes desk research. And you can get 90% of it done. If you're a bigger company and you need to go deeper, sure, go for primary research. But this is using existing information sources. All right, so let's talk about the design of what we're trying to do. The reason we're trying to gather market information is the second step is, as I said, information is useless. It has to be turned into insights to figure out the market dynamics of what's happening in the market and how that affects your customer. So that's our next step. The following sections, we're going to cover the key areas that you must do for good quality market information. These are, you need to know some facts about your overall market. What is the overall size of the market that you operate in or you're targeting, and what's the rate of growth or decline that's happening in that market. You need to know wider market trends that is impacting your market beyond the specific market itself. There's other things always impacting a market. Nothing sits in isolation. As I said before, you live in a country that things are happening all the time. So you need to know what's happening there. And same with customer and consumer behavior. People change all the time. Behavior changes all the time. Big trends happen all the time, impacted by technology, for example. What's happening with people's behavior? And this could be your specific customer or just people in general, more time poor, working harder, feeling more insecure, whatever it is. You need to be able to summarize all that behavior. You need to look at channel structures and trends. So channels, I've done lots of videos on this, but channels is how you sell, you put your product in the hands of the end customer or the consumer. It's your route or route to market. How do you go to market? Is that, via the internet, via a brick and mortar shop, via a mix of other things? There's lots of different models to get to the market. And this is also linked to consumer behavior. They buy from different channels at different times by different amounts. So you need to know what's going on there. There's no point you thinking, right, I'm going to set up a brick and mortar shop for my pet food business, for example, and then you do that, no one ever comes through the door, and then you find out too late that there's plenty of data that 90% of people have shifted to buying pet food online for convenience. So that's the type of thing you need to look at. And the last thing is your business trends for your company. So this is mapping out, are you growing, declining? What's happening with your products? Are they growing, declining? What are your challenges? And you want to find out if these are linked to all the stuff above. So for example, you want to know early on with facts, if the country GDP and your market is increasing, but your sales have been decreasing the last 2 years, you already have a disconnect. So you want to match up, am I at least in the market? For many years, as an example, a lot of companies piled into China when they had GDP growth of 10% per year, and they were saying, hey, wow, I'm growing at 10%. This looks great to Western companies. However, you should be growing by 10% just by being in that market. So growing 10% when GDP is growing 10%, you're just growing by being there. So you want to know, how am I linked to this? But conversely, if GDP was 10% and you're minus 2%, you already have a disconnect. And this is the stuff, by gathering these facts, you're jumping to the next phase to figure out, where do I need to focus? Where am I going wrong? How do I make a better plan? These 5 things you absolutely must do within your market information gathering. If you want a custom plan to upgrade your marketing, head over to stepstogrowth.com, watch a short video, sign up for a strategy call, and we can talk about what it's like to build that out for you. So, what the rest of the market information module covers, and some things to think about as you get together all of your market information. The first is, think about the different types of data that are available and are used in creating a marketing plan. You have external data, get lots of that, all the stuff that's relevant to you and your business, but also internal data. You can get sales figures if you have, from your accounting software. There's sales figures, there's accounting information, there's information from salespeople, there's information from staff. And then also, as you're collecting data, try and disaggregate and mark out, well, what do you think is opinion versus what's fact? Like GDP data from your local government statistics agency, those are facts. versus what salespeople are saying. Those are opinions. So try and sort of put them in different buckets from the start. Don't just put all data that you collect into one big pile and treat it all the same. It's not. Try and think of, okay, these are hardcore facts and statistics and numbers, and then these are opinions. Now, some tips and hints about data gathering. Obviously, you have time constraints. You don't want to be spending a year just gathering market data. So there's a trade-off often also between data quality. Think about, where does it come from? How long is it going to take me to get it? These are all trade-offs to think about. And also getting hold of data within your own company. This can often be difficult if you're in a much bigger organization or a corporate. If you run your own company, it's all at your fingertips. If you have to, in a bigger company, to the finance people to suck data out of SAP, or go to your salespeople who are out in the field and different markets, might even be overseas, your customer services, which might be in a different building or might be in the Philippines. You have to think, you're not going to get this all in one day. So try and balance and give yourself a time limit of, in my marketing planning, maybe you have a month to gather the market information. So think of those time restraints. Think of, I'm not going to get 100% of the data, 80-20, how much is enough to make a plan and start making actions, right? And then put a plan around the type of data you need and how fast you can get it and the quality. Keep evaluating that all the time. It has to be good enough to make a plan. We're not looking to boil the ocean here. Searching for information resources. This is something else to think about. There are skills in this. You can't just, okay, I'll go to Google. There's many other skills in gathering information resource. A lot of big companies have marketing analysts or market analysts. That's their full-time job, researching, putting reports together, collecting all of this data. So there's lots of web tools and websites. Some are better than others. Some are more fact-based. Some might have bias in them. So start to make a list of all good resources that are relevant to you beyond just Google as well. So an example of the minimum level of information required to create a quality marketing plan. Map this out for yourself. I've told you previously there's 5 things you should absolutely get, but there might be more, might be 6, might be 10 for you. Work that out. What is the minimum level? And also look for an example of, once you've got all the data, what's the format to turn data into insights and figure out the market dynamics, because that's really what you want. Facts about GDP and birth rate and immigration, they're all facts, but you want to then work out the dynamics of, okay, we have growth in my market in the next 5 years driven by these things, or we have decline, so we have to go for more premium product and try and drive our margins up via price. These are the outputs. And try and work out an example of what, or find an example of a template or something that takes information and facts down to market dynamics. Also, people forget your competitors. Your competitors are very much part of the market. So you should have some section or some information gathering about what are your competitors doing. Their key products, key strengths, key weaknesses, and their key focus, as much as you know, at a minimum. Key competitor, don't forget that. And then resources. So there's a lot out there. At a minimum, also look at country and economic indicator information. Country statistics can be very good. Obviously, depending on the country, some of these are not quite believable. So do a check on that. Maps. Yep, maps are very useful. And you can even point out where the demand is on maps, where the big customer bases are, where your current business is located, etc., etc. Industry information. If you work in construction, for example, there's lots of construction reports of what's happening in the industry. Company information. How do you get information on particular companies? This could be competitors. It could be big prospects, big people you want to target in that industry or in that market. Media. So media is a good source for stories, but also, check the bias on them, but generally also what's being reported. They often find information themselves to turn it into stories. So do a big media search, but look for more, how do you find trusted media to find market information from? And then industry specific examples. There's people who make specific industry research reports. So in many cases, they have actually done the work for you. You might have to pay for some of these, but in some cases, it's actually worth it. If you pay a couple $100 to buy a research report from a dedicated research agency, and they have, again, like done a complete analysis of all the data of the, example, construction industry in your market, boom, job done. You've just saved yourself maybe a month or two of trying to get all that data yourself. And then you need to think about an action plan. How do you pull all of this together? So if you're thinking about a market information module for yourself, these are the things to think about when you're putting it together for your business. What's the different types of data we're going to get? What level of data gathering are we going to go for? Thinking about data quality and time. How do we put together the skills to search for the information resources? What's the minimum level we're going to get? And what output are we going to create from that? Don't forget to look for your competitors, and then pull together a list of resources where you're going to find all of this information. And if you do that once, then the next time you come to do this whole activity, you will already have that list. You don't have to start from scratch. You know, you should have somebody working for you, or you can even outsource this to say, go back to these resources and update all the information I previously had, because it's 2 to 3 years out of date. So if you want to do it yourself, that's how you do it. So to summarize, back to the funnel. What are we trying to do here? You're in the analysis phase. You're looking to get market information. You're looking to gather lots and lots of facts about the market you operate in. And the more high quality data sources you can pull together at this point, the better your quality plan will be. So if you think of the marketing framework, step 1, understand your customer. And step 1 of understanding your customer is understanding the market that they and you operate in. So think about this funnel. Gather the facts, complete this section, and after that, you can move to the next section, which is facts turn into findings, market dynamics and insights, which turn into conclusions, which should be fewer and fewer, which then turn into the top 5 actions in your plan. This is how it is done. So the very first step, market information. All of this can be done to varying levels of degree. Remember steps 1 to 6, but step 1, understand the customer. And step 1.1.1, keeping it very simple, is gather and get together all of your market information. So get out there and start collecting your market information today. So that's it. All you need to know about market information to get underway and doing it. Now, I've given you enough that you can get underway and do this yourself, but if you want to do it even faster, if you click on this link below, it'll take you to a marketing module that I've created that gives you everything you need. You can download it, follow it step by step, gives you links to all the resources you need, and you can get your market information for your plan done in super fast time, which means you can get your marketing plan moving on to the next stage even faster to have a great plan to start delivering business growth. So if that sounds good, click on the link below. And if you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on notifications so you get alerted when more content like this becomes available, and let me know how this helps you or what else you would like to see in the comments below. And we will see you in the next video.